body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. Have made my way back, can't just lay back. Point out the punk, treating her like a stray cat. Sentenced to learn and did. In this body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. I wear times to keep my hair up, not a rasta. Revere the Empress Menan and the king after. Your wet dreams of vixen video hoes, shaking the ass for fiat rappers giving a rose. Little sister listens to Chris Brown the clown. Let Rihanna be my sister, slap that clown. On some homie, don't play that. Wiping your foot on Empress back like a doormat. Just for that, more slaps. Dissing the principles feminine. Who you think collared the dog called the reverend? Who you think came and gave Moors affairs, and why it was stolen and feds wear it on their heads in chambers so hidden? In their symbols it's written, as Templars crusading, beheading melanin women, his story says colonized. That's not me. You can ask Runoko Rashidi or Brother Kwesi. Learn from Sister Kwesi or Dr. Francis Crest. Mr. Teacher, burn your finals test. That's why Noble Drew Ali carries her out the mess. She brought him in to take us to 7, not less. When we remove this and just respect, we will learn to love instead of hate the opposite sex. Use love to burn out ships used to intercept. You see Moors not historical but in retrospect. They see Moors and popes have it on their crest. Seeing it historical, not in retrospect. Abandoning your birthrights of the pre-village civil wars around you, and you caught in the middle. Walking through fire with goddess, and who comes with me? Behind a shield of water, Noble Drew Ali. Behind a shield of water, Noble Drew Ali. Behind a shield of water, Noble Drew Ali. Sentenced to learn and did. In this body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. Have made my way back, can't just lay back. Point out these punks treating her like a stray cat. Sentenced to learn and did. In this body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. Have made my way back, can't just lay back. Point out these punks treating her like a stray cat. Patriarchs got enough talks on tracks, I do this. Hang agents and traders from trees for Judas. Goddess principles sent gods to earth. Yeah, right. Since when do gods give birth? Whether S-U-N or S-O-N. Families of nations come from no men. Animal instinct, Moors are X-Men like Logan. All talk but no hulk, yellow belly like Hogan. Fighting the feminine side, loving the masculine. Mother Nature gives you herbs, you pop aspirin. Nature gives you what you need, but you hate her. Mother Earth gave you a Mexum, you take Jamaica. IMF control corporate soul catchers. Children's Aid Society or baby snatchers. Mothers won't study, want God to save them. No masculine energy exists, so God can't save them. Abandon goddess powers, beg from caveman hybrids. Attack the senses with sirens. Red, blue, and white cock, cost strobe lights. False education appearing real, make us pull to the right. Right is feminine, watch how they rule. Training us with brainwashing and call it school. But the first place we ever learned was the womb. Sentenced to learn or burn in this body tomb. Sentenced to learn and did. In this body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. Have made my way back, can't just lay back. Point out these punks treating her like a stray cat. Sentenced to learn and did. In this body tomb, fallen angel rose again, now respecting the womb. Have made my way back, can't just lay back. Point out these punks treating her like a stray cat. Dreamy and drooling, falling for the fooling. Mental slaves sell out or get bought out for cooning. Being your example to follow with no strain. Meant means mind, so govern and entertain is more than you imagine. Carbon is melanin, Quran and Bible angels are cherubim and seraphim. Riding on the light angles, traveling at warp speed. We created crossbreeds, now we can't walk free. The mind is the plantation, everything is mental. Even filling your brother with lead like a pencil. Mercenaries with chalk, use bodies as a stencil. If rival gangs won't stop you, barbed wire fence will. It could take more, but it might take less. Cursing your God on Job's cash in the fake checks. Spending fake monopoly money, counterfeit at best. When you see something is wrong, you need to counter it best as you can. You don't need a magic wand or to click your heels twice to escape dreamland. Just use your mind. If you can't relate, you're living in an illusion, slave to the dream state. Just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Invasion. Drew Ali, my water when the fire starts blazing. Running with the holy buckets, the Caucasian. While Asiatics daydreaming, mental stargazing. Not paying attention, but paying taxes and fines. Nas said the world is yours, he really meant mine. If I ruled the world, you wouldn't want to be black. You wouldn't want to be a deadbeat dad or be white for sure. You wouldn't want to be the dirty moral leader, convicted and facing my firing squad either. You won't be put in a box, forget the cedar. Taking tires off cars at unexpired meters. If I ruled the world, dirty Moors would hate it. Find them with their wrists slit in bathrooms naked. Find them holding scimitar handles slumped over with suicide notes to Jehovah.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law, make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants. More like we're prejudiced but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pole magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
One more time.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law, make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books books of metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty Moore or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like more prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pole magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
They've been giving it a try lately.
I'd like to share something. Now, we have a way that we're to acquire our land. And what I'm going to do is show you how the Moors acquire their land from their national standpoints. So here we go. Fair use.
Fair use. She's about to get off.
Oh yeah. Fair use. When we beat their ass, so when they go complain, you know who the traitors are. Fair use. For us using Sister Bethy video when the Moors join your tribe and get a real lecture. Agents will be agents. Alright, so fair use. This is for educational purposes only. The views expressed are strictly better stop the BS. Watch them go snitch.
Oh shit! I hate this shit.
And Jeremy Davis have been convicted of multiple thefts. But this brings wondering how in the world.
Mute up, bro.
Tonight, local Charles Wayne Poland investigates how a simple seal was the key to these crimes that terrorized a local family for weeks.
It was a nightmare.
The nightmare for the Runt family was the theft of their home.
It's crazy.
A theft involving this couple. A bizarre claim.
He has identified himself as a sovereign citizen.
A break-in.
There we go.
Police being called in. And most importantly, the
Oh, there go they steal.
this, a fraudulent deed.
No. Let's just look at the dynamics of the op against the Moors. Because these people know that our people are dumb. And they're taking advantage of your ignorance worse than the European, who you call your enemies, taking advantage of your incompetence. Because you don't want to hear what Moore is saying. Fine. You're going to listen to the Indian guys? All right. Let's hear what they're saying. Open your ears. Let's hear what they're saying. The Indian guys about the Moors. Because we're not going to hear what the European's saying. He's the white man. He's the devil and all this. So we're not going to listen to him. We're not going to listen to people who are unconscious because they don't know what they're talking about. We're not going to listen to the people who are conscious. They don't know what they're talking about. The Moors don't know what they're talking about. The Hebrews don't know what they're talking about. NOI, Rastafarians, Garveyites, going down the line, doesn't know what they're talking about. The people who know what they're talking about are the Aboriginal and Indigenous guys. Okay, let's hear what they have to say then. They've been talking for a number of years out here about the Moors. So let's hear what they have to say, since we're not listening to anybody else.
Hey, Chauncey.
Okay, so y'all hold on for a minute. Hi, give me a minute.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to show. I'd like to share something. Now, we have a way that we're to acquire our land. And what I'm going to do is show you how the Moors acquire their land from their national standpoints. So here we go. Fair use.
Fair use. She's about to get off.
Now, first thing, these aren't Moors right here. These are modern Europeans. So shouldn't they be showing Moors saying something? If this is the Moors that are presenting how to claim your land, shouldn't there be Moors talking? How come there's no Moors talking? Like, this is supposed to be a sign to you that these people are a fraud. And don't listen to anything that they're saying, because they're out here to play you. All the Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever's that don't, it doesn't matter if you have a nationality or not. We could be tribe of whatever. All of them are playing you. Every last one of them, if they don't have a nationality. Because the order of the day is nationality. It's been that in the 1920s, and it's still that today. Why are they showing you modern Europeans if they're not pushing the propaganda of the colonists? It means if they're pushing the propaganda of the colonists, that means they're an agent for the colonists. Oh yeah, and keep in mind, this is not rocket science. This is reason and logic and common sense. That's all. You don't need 500 books in a library for this. But nah, you're not going to hear anything that the Moors are saying, even though right now there's Moors right now. There's Moors right now who are in direct contact with the so-called colonists, whether they got kidnapped, whether they got whatever it is. The colonists came down on them super hard because they were standing up for the fact that they're Moor. Came down on them super hard. Hard that you probably wouldn't even be able to handle how hard these colonists came down on some Moors. You know why? Because people try to imply that one Moor does something, that means all Moors do that. So they start painting people with this broad brush and mixing up Moors who their mindsets don't even go together, much less what they're teaching to whoever's listening to them. So we know that it's an operation because Noble Ali was here in the 1920s and had Asiatics in office about to take the government back. But you didn't want that. You want to be nigger. And now you're complaining about what you're going through. And opposed to consider, well, let's trace back. When they talk about Marcus Garvey going around and teaching the people, right? And they talk about NAACP going around teaching the people. And when they talk about Moorish Science Temple of America going around teaching the people, how come you don't hear about Aboriginal Indigenous chief guy was going around telling our people that they're Indians in the 1920s? Where were they at? In all your research, we're not talking about the dumb people who don't know anything and don't study. We're talking about the people who are studying, they're competent. In your research, during the 1900s, did you hear of any Aboriginal, Indigenous, tribal people with a newspaper, with something in the public, telling you, come back to your tribal whatever? How come you only hearing about them now? Because they're a fraud, that's why. They are a fraud. They haven't been around but 40, 50 years. Black, Indian, whatever. That's a fiction. Everybody knows that's a fiction. Everybody knows that's Negroes who don't want to be under Negro. But we're not even dealing with them. We're just making the point. Where were they at in the 1920s? Find me one Aboriginal, Indigenous guy who had a newspaper or something like that telling all the Negroes that, hey, you know, you guys aren't Negroes, you're actually Aboriginal, Indigenous and all that stuff, and you need to come back to the tribe. So what they're talking about is modern. I wasn't in the 1920s, but there's enough information on that I could say, yeah, after verifying through these multiple sources, there was actually a thing called Moor Science Temple of America in the 1920s that our people were belonging to. And nobody was talking about their sovereign citizens in the 1920s. How come nobody called Moors? How come in your research they always tell you about Moors are sovereign citizens, but then when you look up Moors, you never see that term, sovereign citizen. Just like you never see the term black in ancient culture. But people are going to be the black, ancient, whatever. No, you can't. That's a fiction. So fiction stops where truth presents itself. And the truth is that all these people are playing you out your Moorish birthright for whatever it is that they're getting. I don't know what they're getting. I don't get nothing for doing this. I don't have to be on here, but I know something's wrong. And I don't want to sit back just like all these other Moors out here. I don't want to sit back and say nothing. And conditions only getting worse. And people don't want to get it. They're out to lunch, dinner, brunch, and everything else. So remember, they're supposed to be talking about Moors are doing some type of house stealing, whatever. This is how Moors claim land. See, look, this is how Moors claim land. When it's not. When it's not. These aren't Moors. These are modern Europeans. Why are these people pushing modern Europeans on you? And they're supposed to be going against the colonists or whatever, but you're using them as a reference point? In order to talk BS about Moors who we built stuff on this side and all that? Everybody knows this? All right.
Oh shit! I hate this shit.
Jeremy Davis have been convicted of multiple thefts, but this brings wondering how in the world.
Mute up, bro.
Tonight, local channel's Wayne Poland investigates how a simple seal was the key to these crimes that terrorized a local family for weeks.
So they're going with the fact. This is a fact they're putting on the record. They're going with the fact that a seal, they're going with the fact that a seal terrorized some people. Like, you know when you go to Disney World and stuff, balancing the stuff on the nose and all that stuff? A seal. A seal terrorized some people. And people are mad. You taking that serious? You're taking that serious? You're taking it serious that So Moors wanted to claim a house. And then for them to claim the house, they had to go get a seal. And then they just brought the seal to the office or whatever. People verified, yeah, that's the seal. And then they took the seal back to the ocean. If you take that serious, we know that you're just following the hum, running around the antenna. That's all you're doing, running around the antenna. If you think a seal terrorized somebody. Remember, these are the Aboriginals. So, these boys want to claim a house, right? These boys want to claim a house. So in order to claim a house, they have to take the seal to the office. So they show up to the office with a Navy SEAL. Guy says, no, that's a seal. And then they told Navy SEAL guy, thanks very much for showing up so we can verify that we have the seal and all that stuff. And then he went back to doing his business. These people said, we're going to claim a house. We need the seal. And then they show up to the office with the seal, and it's a singer. And he starts singing the song. Yep, that's seal. And if you take that serious, now remember we're talking about, this is an op. So the op, you're looking at operation. The op is optics. The op is all the different ways that they're going to get you to look at this as it's a reality when it's a fiction. Why? Because it's based on a fraud of the individuals who are talking and using this as an example. They're a fraud. So anything they say is going to be fraud. But you want to look at it like Moors. You want to look at it like some conscious community thing, and those guys over there got this, then these guys over here got their thing, and then those ones are against those ones, and they're debating. No, there's no debating here. There's no debating. This is not a debate. This is, we're showing you who the frauds are. We've been showing you who the frauds are. And he keeps supporting the frauds. And the conditions keep getting worse. We got at least 12 years of showing you the fraud. And people still following the fraud. Still following the fraud? How are you still following the fraud? Now, look at this too. It took them 3 hours to get to this point in the whatever they're doing, that's 6 hours. 3 hours. So the whole time they're in here lulling. Starts go to sleep music. The sun's at high noon. They're playing you some good night, go to sleep. And you're sleeping. Fraud does not have power. Truth reigns supreme. It's always about the obvious. There's no way that a seal did something to somebody. There's no way. There's no way a seal terrorized people. At that point, the whole thing is colored, and then there should be no conversations. But because they're fraud, of course they're going to carry on with the fraud. The colorable language, the colorable offices, everybody who's on this thing, the people who are on the screen, colorable offices. And they're claiming that the Moors did something with a seal, and they're trying to claim houses and have you thinking that that's what Moors are about because they're doing this broad stroke thing that they're trying. No, you're not broad stroking Moors. There's traitors in this, and then there's righteous in this. And the two don't mix, the two don't relate, the two aren't friends, not brothers, and none of that. And we recognize that our people love to follow the traitors. Just like how there's a snitch culture, there's a traitor lover culture. Where our people have taken the position of adopt the traitor as their leader, whoever. This is where our people are at right now. Why they're going through whatever it is that they're going through right now. And I'm not saying we, because I'm not black, Negro, colored, Ethiopian, or none of that. African, no school of thought, none of that. I'm not any of that, because I have a nationality. Just like a Chinese he's not Buddhist or Christian or atheist or Taoist, or he's not Catholic or whatever. He's not that. That's not who he is. That has nothing to do with his national identity. We're at the place of national identity. And as a national, I want to know how come they're not doing this with other nationals. Why not making videos talking about what the BS that China's doing? Going into the continent, raping it or whatever like that. Coming here, taking all these Negroes' jobs. And they're talking about nationality doesn't do anything. Knowing thyself doesn't do anything. Remember, they're connecting Moors to this seal.
It was a nightmare.
The nightmare for the Runk family was the theft of their home.
It's crazy.
A theft involving this couple. A bizarre claim.
He has identified himself as a sovereign citizen.
A break-in.
There we go.
Police being called in.
Get your hands up. We'll reach the seal.
And most importantly, the
Oh, there go they seal.
this. A fraud.
What's
No.
up, bro?
No, we have to wonder with these people.
What's
You
up
have
with
to
the
wonder
exact
with these
Moors
people.
when they got arrested? I can do that. Okay, I'll be right back. Continue on, Glynis, while I get the Moors.
We have to wonder with these people. How are they making this claim that the Moors did something with regard to a seal? Right, the Moors did something with regard to a seal. And then the seal that they present to you doesn't even have anything to do with Moors. How are they showing you a seal that has absolutely nothing to do with Moors? How? It is not in their position. It's not in their position to make it seem as if the Moors don't have their own seal, that they're going to have to be even using somebody else's seal. And to even take the position of saying, there it is, and that's not even anything to do with Moors, shows you that it's a op. They're not trying to show you that the Moors are doing something negative and whatever like that. That's not what this is about. One, they use that word, that phrase, sovereign citizen, that we know anybody who's using that and applying that to Moors in any way, shape, or form, they're agent, they're a traitor, they're some operative for some agency. They're not on the side of the people. That's known. That's a known thing. And again, we go back to the example of how you talking crazy about Moors, but then you're best friends with a autochthonous one who proclaimed that he's a Moor. And you're not debating him. You have him on your platform and all that as if now, again, I want to be clear. Fair use. We don't know if somebody's paying them. We don't know if they're taking orders from somebody. But we do know that as soon as you start talking about Moors and tying Moors in any way, shape, or form to some kind of for some kind of try to punk us. No. Now, they're showing you a notary seal for the state of Ohio and saying that has to do with Moors. That doesn't have to do with Moors. That has to do with the state of Ohio. How come these Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever's have nothing to say to the state of Ohio? Since it's their seal. If it's their seal, why are you even bringing up Moors? What do Moors even have to do with anything that you're talking about right now? Because right up to now, we haven't heard nothing about Moors yet. We heard about sovereign citizen. We heard about seals, states of Ohio.
Oh, there go they seal.
This.
Right. Notarial seal of Ohio. Seal of Ohio. So this is supposed to be a strike against these people, right? And you excommunicate them because they're a traitor, because that's a bold-faced lie. That's not just a slip lie. That's a planned, thought out, orchestrated, premeditated lie. They knew they were going to lie. They knew they were going to lie. Why would they lie? Because, like Cousin Jeff said on BT, these people don't know anything. They're dumb. Why are we going to give them something enlightening? They're dumb. They want nigger stuff. So we're going to give them nigger stuff. Right? They knew that you would just sit there and think that, oh my gosh, the Moors. This has nothing to do with Moors. Nothing whatsoever. What they're trying to do is put Moors in it. Right? This is the part where they're building the story. Putting all the characters in place or whatever like that. Make you remember that little one in the back, little crazy girl. You only saw her once in the movie. This is the script.
A fraudulent deed.
We felt violated.
In late January, Stephanie Kinley and Jeremy Davis moved into this home on Hamilton Avenue, owned by Reno Runk and his wife.
You wouldn't think it was going to happen to you.
But it did. Both Kinley and Davis have been convicted of theft for stealing homes and properties on Hamilton Avenue. Before they were arrested, the pair simply took over the Runk family home.
There was just stuff everywhere.
Like they owned the place.
Yeah.
Which on paper they did.
Yeah.
On January 25th, Kinley and Davis filed this deed at the Hamilton County Auditor's Office, allowing them to claim the home as their own.
So, what's this have to do with Moors? Still, I'm still trying to find out how Moors are connected to this, because I didn't hear anything Moorish yet. Nothing Moorish. And this is Dane Calloway's crew and all of them. All the Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever's. All of them. This is where their mind's at when it comes to Moors. And we're letting you know that they're liars and they're playing you. They're liars. They don't want you to know about your nationality and your birthrights. And they're saying anything and everything to get you to give it up.
But the signatures on that deed are not real. Reno Runk and his wife never signed.
I never imagined that someone could just forge a deed and take your home from you.
So why did the Hamilton County Auditor and Recorder's offices allow this deed to be filed? It turns out anyone can forge signatures and steal a home if a notary public signs and seals the document.
So, how does that have to do with Moors? If anybody could do this, obviously these two idiots weren't the first idiots to do this. Obviously. Obviously, it's there for you to do that. That they're going to come back later and get you later. And the notary who's taking the paperwork, he's an agent. Really new in. Does nothing to do with Moors. Do you notice all these European sovereign whoever's all of a sudden they disappeared? The only ones left are the Negroes playing that sovereign whatever. They don't want to nationalize, but they want rights. They're going to tell you about some heir to some whatever, Queen of Sheba, whatever, where queen means prostitute. What the hell what are you talking about? Who are you following? What do you mean Afro-Asiatics and all this? What is that? African Arab. What's that? Indian. What are you talking about? Those aren't identities. All of them. Their job is to get you to acknowledge and recognize everything except what Noble Drew Ali brought you. And that should make you wonder about some stuff like why is he the only one they're not telling me about? How come we know about everybody else? We know about everybody else, but we don't know about him? And you're not questioning that? Who's this man I never heard about ever? I heard about everybody else from the 1920s. You never heard about Noble Drew Ali. Then you're not stopping and thinking for a second, like, hold on a second. How come you're not telling me about him? And then the only people who's telling you about Moors and Moorish whatever is people like this. Right? And then that was part of the sellout on our side, because you're left with this because the sellout on our side didn't do their job and tell you what's up like they were supposed to do since the 1920s. So we'll come out the womb as Moors.
Pretty easy. The deed that led to the theft of the Runk family home has a seal and signature from this woman. Are you Julie? She is Julie Kathleen Taylor, the same one who notarized the deed that led to the theft of the Runk home. Taylor runs 24/7 Mobile Notary LLC, which means she meets people across the tri-state who need documents notarized, which is what she says happened when she met Kinley and Dave.
Well, the other thing is that a Moor wouldn't even need a notary. You go to your body of Moors, temple, organization, association, whatever. Once it's Moorish, and they got a seal, there's a seal. Why are these people going to this European to go get their document sealed? If they're saying they're Moors, Indigenous, whatever, why are they going to the colonizer to get something authenticated? And you see, they went to check her at her house. They ain't charging her with anything, right? She's not even charged or anything or whatever. They check her at her house. The people who got kidnapped, they got cuffs on. They're about to go in the big house. Why? Because they did something, whatever? No, because the system, the same people who kidnapped them, set up this operation. That they have their notary, who's protected under ultra-vires statute or whatever arrangement that they got, that she's gonna be the one to notarize all these people's stuff. And all of them, whether it's the discharge debt people, the filed liens on whoever people, all these people always end up in this situation, with them being used now as an op against what Moorish nationality truly is about.
In the parking lot.
Taylor admits she notarized this deed, even though she did not witness Reno Runk or his wife sign in front of her.
You did violate a golden rule, which is you're supposed to watch them sign it.
Yeah. Taylor tells me she knows.
So I just want to show you little things, and there's a ton of more of these Moors doing this stuff. So
Not more.
yeah, there's a bunch of them. You want me to go pull the ones up with the exact Moors when they got arrested? I can do that. Okay, I'll be right back. Continue on, Glennis, while I.
Now, what this brother up here is trying to say is that we all one people. But what I'm saying is, where did Islam originate from? And don't tell me America.
I mean, it really don't matter.
It don't matter?
It don't matter.
Bro.
Ideology.
All right, go ahead, let me speak. Go ahead, let him say
Can
what
I
he's saying.
finish what I'm saying? It really don't matter your ideology on how you speak about it or how you feel about it.
Well, you can't claim indigenous to this land in a religion that came thousands of years after.
But that's what I'm saying, though. You don't know.
That religion didn't come across the water. All right, one at a time. Hey, one at a time. One at a time.
This shit fucked up. I'm
So after all that now, they pull up a Van Balen video, who we know for sure is a op. We know without a shadow of a doubt, these people are the European version of our people who talk crazy about Moors. And Moors are doing illegal stuff and paper terrorists and sovereign citizen and all this. Right? They're the European version. They're the ones that talk crazy about people who are like JFK and other modern Europeans on this side. Who, even though that they were colonists, they were about abolition and all that stuff. They weren't about how these people are acting crazy. Right? They use another op of the European side as a reference point. Why do they keep using these Europeans as a reference point if they're claiming that they're indigenous? Shouldn't they be against the colonists? Why would they be using the colonists? And this is the same colonist tactics that they pulled on them, the so-called indigenous. Why they have to go through the trail of tears and all that? And so, you know the tactics that these people pull. So why are you riding with them right now? Why are you not backing up the Moors? That, you know what? This is the Moors' land. They're Aboriginal and Indigenous too. Look at all the proclamations from all the mayors that came out and said the Moors are Aboriginal and Indigenous to the Americas. Moorish Americans. If you're going to show their seal and all that stuff, and state seals and all that, then that means you're down with the state stuff. All right, well, if you're down with the state stuff said the Moors are Aboriginal and Indigenous. But you're not riding with that. But you're going to ride with their seal. And then you're not going to ride with the Moors, but then you're going to ride with some European propagandists. Which right?
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
outnumbered.
Go ahead, Newt. Go ahead. Speak.
The only thing I'm saying is that
You're tripping.
I'm trying to.
the only thing I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we are all one certain
All right,
people.
if you want to play the bills to Bethy, all right, go ahead. Hey,
Come against me,
and pause real
and if
quick.
you want to come against anybody that's saying that we need to come together no matter what the fuck we believe in, you are Asian.
All right. Okay, all right, so go ahead, Josie.
That's a nice spin tag to try to get everybody to
All right, we're
play.
gonna watch the video out first, I guess.
Where's
Where's the
Go
warrant?
ahead, mute your mics.
Where's the warrant? Where is the warrant? Where is the warrant? You're refusing to show me the warrant.
There's the paperwork right there.
Mariah.
Right, this is simple.
Mariah, you need to relax.
This is simple. All I need is the computer back from where you were working.
Just get the computer.
That's all I need back is the computer. And this all goes away. This is all
Just
done.
get the fucking computer.
This is all done. All I need is the computer back, and we're done.
What are you here for? Yeah, what happened?
Mariah, just get the
I'm not getting shit until she's gone. We're all back in the car.
Here's the
Because
deal.
I don't feel safe. You just assaulted me,
No,
sir.
I
Yes,
identified
you did.
myself as a
You
police
grabbed my hand. I am not a U.S. citizen. I'm not your property. I am indigenous to this land and I have rights. You assaulted me, sir.
I need
Period.
the
I
computer.
heard you. The first
If I don't
time.
get the computer
She needs to
back-
be off out of here because I don't feel safe.
This
So
is
she needs to
simple.
step to the side.
This is simple. If I don't get the computer,
Mariah! Get the computer! Mariah, just get the computer! I have no idea. I just came outside and he's talking about a computer. And he's grabbing on her and shit. We don't know this guy. We don't know if he's police.
Everything's recorded.
I record too. I don't give a damn. Well, I seen this shit when I came outside on camera. Like, can you back up, sir? Sir, can you back? No, you're not going in there, sir.
Don't touch him.
Look, I'm gonna
come in here one way or another unless I get that
I
computer
will be
back.
back out, sir.
Are you going to come
Close
back?
the door.
Please don't interfere
because we don't want to take anybody to
But I live here. My name is on the lease here. Mariah! Sir, you are tripping. Mariah! Then let her get it. Let her get it. Just let her get the computer. Mariah! Oh my God! What I'm talking about? Mariah!
I refuse. I don't consent. No.
Mariah! Mariah!
I'm getting it.
You said
Let go of the cut.
I'll get it! I'll get it! I'll get it! I'll get it! Let me get it! Just let me get it!
So much for sovereignship.
Mariah!
So much for sovereignship. Y'all be-
Now, you don't know what's going on. All this yelling and talking about computers and where's warrants and you don't even know what's going on. And then when you go check, you realize that she said they're indigenous. Man, these people say that they're indigenous. Ain't nobody said anything about Moors in this. And honest to the Moors that study. Because it was a Moor that sent me this at the timestamp because somebody sent it to him who's on the Indigenous or whatever. See all the Moors is getting arrested and whatever. When you can't base anything on anything in that situation. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know who's right, who's wrong, who's sideways. I don't know. Because that was just madness. That's all that was. Now we do know that based on skin complexion, somebody's indigenous and somebody's a foreigner. And if there's a foreigner and if there's somebody indigenous, that's diversity of citizenship. And diversity of citizenship means that your jury and your executioner and everybody better be your own peers. And if they're not, there's fraud going on. So on that level, we know that there's fraud going on. And that applies in every situation because everybody who's dark skinned in the Americas is Aboriginal and Indigenous to somewhere. We're not foreigners. So because they were Aboriginal and Indigenous, We would say Moors as far as nationality, because just to say indigenous doesn't mean anything. So even though we say we're Moors, we know that we're Aboriginal and indigenous. We're not foreigners. Neither are the people who call themselves indigenous in whatever tribe. The difference, the big difference, is that we're claiming a nationality. They're claiming a tribe. A tribe is subordinate to nationalities. That's why they get their stuff bulldozed and all that stuff and built on top of. And no one cares. Because it's a fiction. That's why they're on the reserve. Because it's a fiction. That's how fictions get treated. When they accept the colonization. Why? Because they don't want to get out of that lower status and up their game. Because he should be a nation by now. Juali told y'all that in the 1920s, and he's Cherokee. So if Noble Juali was Cherokee, and he said, forget calling myself Cherokee, I'm a Moor. Where were these guys back then telling Noble Juali that he can't do that? Where were these people in Juali's time? Right? We know that they're on the other side. Just by the references that they use. And like we said, the last two references that these Aboriginal indigenous people use to talk crazy out of Moors were European references who are the colonists who are their enemy. It's not that they have Stockholm Syndrome, isn't it? They relate a lot with their captors, don't they? These Aboriginal indigenous whoever's. Isn't that Stockholm Syndrome? That they're riding with they're riding with their colonizer, opposed to riding with their brothers Moors. And again, this is not, you know what I'm saying? We know Aboriginal indigenous Moors. We know Moors who are Aboriginal indigenous. So what's wrong with these other ones who don't want to be Moors? We know Moors, just like Juali, who trace themselves back to whatever tribe. And just like Juali, they said, forget the tribe, we're Moors. And then everybody in the tribe hates them because they're saying that they're Moors. But then the tribe's going through all this BS. Nothing could get together. Everybody's separated. Can't even get your foot in to get a good start. And don't want to recognize that you could do that as Moors. And it would be done as Moors. Are you considered a Moor without a proclamation? The purpose of the proclamation is a notice. Just like they're going to give you a notice before you go in the store, you better have a mask on, section 555, whatever, and then they got a little small print that, those who have exemptions, we respect your position. And then people want to go in there without a mask, they're anti-defying something, when the notice was right there on the door. So they know before they go in there. You're not just coming in here just because you feel, and then they get kidnapped or something and then they're blaming somebody. No, this is your dumbass. Didn't read the notice. So the proclamation, the purpose of the proclamation is a notice to let whoever that's supposed to know be able to know that you declare and proclaim their nationality, that you're not Negro, black, colored, you're not ward of the crown, ward of the state, you're not whatever, you're not anything that they're claiming, no assumed jurisdiction, none of that. You're part of your own nation state. You have your own body politic, you have your own religion, you have nothing to do with them like that. You're putting them on notice. You're letting them know that you're no longer their ward. The purpose of the proclamation. But we're Moors. Moors, any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro, any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro, is a Moor. So, how are we not Moors? In the perfect world, you don't need any papers and all that stuff, nationality card and plates and all that stuff. You wouldn't even need any of that. Because you're going to be a righteous individual, you're going to be living on high principles, and you're not going to need orders and all that stuff. You need prisons because you want to do some BS. Because you already know if you do BS, we're cutting your hand off. You're not going to prison. Cripple somebody, we cripple you. Right? That's just what it would be. And you would know not to do certain things. But it's straight away from that. So now you got to do proclamations and all that stuff. You can't trust anybody out here. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, they kidnap you and they don't let you go. Just because you're classified as Negro, black, colored. Because you're classified as Negro, black, colored, then, hey, who cares what happens to you? We're Moors. That's our nationality, that's our lineage. That's who our ancient foremothers and forefathers were, without doubt or contradiction. Without doubt or contradiction. Yeah, but yeah, it's not even look at Palestine right now. Look at Palestine in the 1900s. They didn't just start fighting today. They just start fighting because we're seeing stuff on online and all that stuff. We got access to see things across the world. They've been fighting. Been. Fighting longer than some of us are alive. So it ain't about right now at all. Because they know who their ancient foremothers and forefathers are. That's why they're fighting. They're fighting for some land grabbing, whatever. They're fighting because of their nationality. Their ancient foremothers and forefathers. That's what they're fighting for. They're fighting for some bombing. They've been getting bombed. They've been getting bombed forever. Bombing ain't nothing new to them. New to you. You just got online and saw what the hell these people have been going through for 100 years. You realize your stuff's good. Shit. The hell you get? People got bombs dropped on them. Came out of it unscathed because they had a nationality. What happened to you when they dropped bomb on you? Take your bones, got you as guinea pig in damn archaeology class. No status. You know? Yeah. Honors. Because you know that's ancient Moabites and Canaan and all that. You know, Palestine. It's Canaan and all that, right? You know, nobody draws the old Canaanite temple and all that stuff? Alright. Descendants of the ancient Canaanites and all that, or he didn't know what he was talking about, huh? But these Palestinians, they know what they're talking about, but they're Canaanites. But Noble Drew Ali didn't know what he was talking about. They got the RBG, and then these people over here with RBG playing games. They got the 500 people gun club though, but they're not about some PLO. No, you don't file proclamation. You put on notice with a proclamation. That's why we tell the Moors that they're getting into this information. Take a page out of just one of the Moors who you don't know. Right? Just one of the Moors out there with regard to proclamation. Their proclamation became a test subject. Their proclamation, the body of literature that makes up the proclamation, all the different sources that are used or whatever that makes it up, right? The actual document is a study tool. So the more who really understands what this is about is going to get that proclamation, download it or whatever like that, and they're gonna study it before they even put their name on it, autograph it, seal it, and put somebody on notice with it. Before any sealing or autographing or sending out or using or whatever, you're going to take that 7-page document and you're going to study it for as long as it takes for you to get exactly what that's saying. However long it takes you, that'll be on you. Well, it's not going to be some 5-minute or whatever, so don't play yourself. Right? The more studied that thing. And after he studied it, and he felt that he knew what that was that he had and the power of it, then did the autograph and seal and send it out and whatever. But there's no filing of proclamation. At one time, you would file at the county recorder's office. At one time. But when you realize that the county recorder's office has sold out to the city, and now are the city clerk's office and all that, now you know you can't trust them. So you probably don't want them having your papers and stuff like that. Which is why it turned into a notice. And also, because the priesthood is dead, nobody can do this for you. You have to do it. So it's not a thing that, you're going to go find some Moors, proclaim your nationality, fill out paperwork, and then they keep it. And they're going to be your power of attorney and put them on notice for you and all that stuff. And you're paying your $1,200 a month and you think you got something going on. That's not what's going on. You just got played because no one can do it for you. So that's your paperwork. Why is somebody doing your stuff for you? Like, why is your brother or sister cleaning up your room? Why are you cleaning up their room? They slept in the bed. Am I cleaning up their stuff? Cousin, whoever. Why are you cleaning up their stuff? You'd be mad too when they try to tell you clean up their stuff. Yeah, right. All of a sudden now, you're gonna let somebody do stuff for you? Just like that, all of a sudden. You're down with get stuff done for you now. Okay. What do you think about Kyrie Irving, the baller, claiming Islam Muslim as it relates to him previously identifying as Native, Indian, Indigenous? Only means that he's getting closer to being a Moor. Getting closer. He might be there already. If you got to Islam and saying, I'm a Sioux nation, but my religion is Islam. He's telling more than people, because hey, if certain people in the slave movie, you talking about Assalamu alaikum and all that stuff, yeah, we just got slave ship, Assalamu alaikum, yeah, Quran and all that stuff. No native, anything like that? No. But honest to Kyrie. Mr. Kyrie, yo. Found his way. Because we know that all the Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever's, they know what Islam is. They know I self-law master. They know. What do you mean? Shaman is a high priest. Shaman is indigenous stuff. High priest, shrooms, ayahuasca, all that stuff. All of that. DMT, smoking, all types of plants, hallucinogen, honey, and all types of madness. High priest, Aboriginal, Indigenous. A high priest is a Moor scientist. It's not up for debate. That's what it is. A high priest is a Moor. Hieroglyphic dictionary. Right? The higher the above religion, the stuff that where the pastors and the imam and the rabbis are at, and the grand sheiks and whatever, that level is where it's at. Right? That's the level that they're getting to when they start saying, I'm indigenous but Islamic. That means they crossed the threshold. Right? Why would Aboriginal and Indigenous gravitate to Islam if Islam is not part of the culture? Why are they wearing turbans and fezzes if it's not part of the culture? You got straw fez, you think they don't know what's up? You got straw fez. And again, the only ones we have to convince are people. Hard-head, stiff-necked Moors who only learn at the point of a sword. And that's how they want to learn. They love to learn the hard way. That's their stuff. Learn the hard way. You love that. You want to learn easy. You want to learn hard. They want to tumble down the mountain to learn. Well, there has to be a time when, like we say, put away your childish stuff. You already know it's not no Aboriginal, Indigenous, whatever. He's saying Islamic, he knows what's up. He knows close. He knows close. Too close. Watch out for these ops. Stay true to the cause of uplifting our people and learning the truth about your higher self and your lower self, your nationality and your birthrights. And anyone talking crazy about Moors, anyone, if you hear anybody talking crazy about active Moors, trying to imply some funny stuff and trying to get you to look at this as something other than nationality and birthrights, be mindful of these people. Be mindful. Right? You know, there's people say, well, they might have some information, you know, eat the fish and spit out the bones. Like, yeah, okay. But some of those people and what they're doing are black holes. So you're not getting out once you get in. And or you're going to have to pay some type of crazy debt to get out. You know. Yeah, don't fall for the okie doke. Honors to all the Moors. Don't forget. rvbaypublications.com. That's your best bet. Right? I've been saying it ever since the jump. Because there's no need to stray. It's too much. There's too much there for you to have to go anywhere else. There's nowhere else that you could really go. And then you go to MHHS Blog Talk on top of that, and then the archives on there, and you still finding somewhere else to go? Definitely not ready yet. Definitely not ready. There's no way you're telling me about somebody else and some other site and all that before there. No way. No. Because you're supposed to be stuck there for a year, 2 years. You wouldn't have any questions. You come out the cave after 2 years. Beard down to the ground or whatever like that. Like, what happened? Where you been? I went to go study more science. Get back hovering. Yo, he's hovering. Where can we find quotes from the Prophet? Only place you're going to get quotes is oral statements and prophecies. Moorish Holy Quran. Moorish literature. That's a 101 questionnaire. You could say Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Say there too. You get some. And anything else these Moors got hiding who, you know what's up. And they got letters and pictures and all types of stuff they got hiding. Right. And then you can get all those khalifamedia.com, rvbaypublications.com, morrisdirectory.com. You know, there's some others that you can go to. You know, there's definitely others. But there's a foundation that has to be laid if you're gonna take on this thing about nationality and birthrights. Because if you do not set a proper foundation, guarantee you 2-3 years you're gonna be ready to throw in the towel. Or pull a Cliff Solo and jump on another ship because you couldn't handle it. You know, jump on another ship because you couldn't handle it.
Peace.
Peace, man.
I know. I was asking because it was a site I had asked you about once, and you had told me it's like like the whole site was just a list. I want to say it was like a black background with green writing.
Just put in oral statements, Morris tripod. Morris tripod. I think that's what you're talking about. I think I know. I think that's what you're talking about. Morris tripod.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, more.
Peace.
Peace. Right. So you don't gotta stray. You don't gotta be in 500 places to get this info. You're not gonna get a foundation like that. And you're gonna do yourself more damage than good. Because you're gonna bump into the wrong Moors. And they're not gonna be kind. They're gonna take you for everything you got. And it's not gonna be on them, it's gonna be on you because we told you where to go and you wanted to go straight. You know what I mean? We told you, don't push on the screen. Pushing on the screen, now you're walking down the street and all that stuff. You know, you're the queen pin on the block or whatever like that, and you know, 10 Rockweilers saw you and now you're coming back home all messed up because your ass wanted to go outside the screen. Told you don't go out there. So, we've been told you. So don't get mad when you get played. Just remember where we told you to go and then ask yourself, did I get played by the people that Kudrow said for me to go to, or did somebody else that they never told me to go to? You realize that it's somebody else, gotta take that L. Hopefully you learn from it this time. Next time, you might lose your house next time, messing with some of these Moors, who again are the traders. Because why would you use the Moorish activity like that so people could use it like these clowns are using it? Why would you be doing some dumb stuff? We're not talking about somebody just innocently sitting in their ride or whatever. We're talking about people who like to pull out their phone for everything. And certain things need to be on chill. You need to blast every time you get taxes off. It's not a big deal. Like, don't be a fetus with this. Fetus can't do anything. Just lay there. At least wait until your feet and legs and arms and stuff are working, so you could at least be somewhat useful with this body you got. You might not have to wait till you're a full-blown adult to exercise your birthrights, but don't be a fetus trying to exercise birthrights, because you couldn't do anything as a fetus. Just get slapped around. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. If you have anything else, you could hit it in the DM. Also get caught up. Canaanland Moors YouTube. Peace and love to all. Islam to all the Moors. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And honors to all the mothers worldwide. Oh yeah, and don't forget, this is third Thursday. Sons of Allah, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, Blog Talk Radio. Thursday, 9 p.m. And also, more than likely, we'll be on Canaanland Moors as well. This Thursday, Sons of Allah. If you never heard anything before, you could just go on the Blog Talk Radio. MHHS, Eyes Wide Open. And check the archives. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.